will shake hands now, take their robes off, and we're all set to go with our first event between Lynn O'Connor and June Adair. That's O'Connor you're looking at right now in the white T-shirt. June Adair has a striped gray T-shirt. The bell sounds, and we're on with our first match this evening. Both girls cautiously circle each other. Your referee in there is Ray Garcia, one of the most able referees about. Top wrist lock taken in there by O'Connor. Adair, meantime, is countering that now with a knuckle lock. And a double wrist lock by June Adair, and a falling arm drag for the takedown by Adair. But instead, it's Adair who falls into a Lynn O'Connor head scissors. A double wrist lock and a falling arm drag for the takedown by Adair, but she immediately fell into a head scissors now applied by O'Connor. And there's Adair trying to bridge out of it and does so. Very nice bridging in there by Adair, who bridged out of that head scissors. Against the referee's hold they go once again. Now it's an arm bar and a front headlock taken in there by June Adair, who gets down to one knee. Applies all her 127 pounds into that hold, and it's O'Connor complaining that she's being choked in there, and Ray Garcia orders a break. A leg smash now by Adair as Garcia still trying to set girls. And there's O'Connor with her leg hung up on the top strand of rope. Ray Garcia warning June Adair against rough tactics in there as she strangled, cut off the windpipe of O'Connor in that front headlock. O'Connor was born in New York City, now lives in Pasadena, California, and right now is in a left arm side headlock applied by Adair, who spasms once. Gets down to her left knee, and a hip roll by Adair for the takedown. O'Connor tries to flail kick out, but it's Adair now who has the advantage as Ray Garcia goes down to see if he can see daylight between the canvas and the shoulders of O'Connor. O'Connor now tips Adair back on her shoulders, but not for long, as Adair holds on to her hold. A left arm side headlock by Adair. O'Connor now trying to get astride her, trying to counter that with some offensive wrestling of her own. We started to say Lynn O'Connor was born in New York City but lives in Pasadena, California. She's been living there since she was 11. Another hip roll by June Adair for the takedown, and O'Connor goes down to the mat once again. You might be interested in knowing that Lynn O'Connor is a accomplished ballet teacher and dancer. He has a ballet school in Pasadena where he teaches 42 pupils and is a fine ballerina in her own right. Now she's in that left arm side headlock applied by Adair. Interesting story how these girls started wrestling, and if we have time during this match, we'll try to tell you. There's Lynn O'Connor now breaking out of her headlock and coming up with a hammerlock. A hammerlock on that left arm of Adair now by O'Connor as she goes into offensive wrestling on her own right. Ray Garcia sends a submission sign into Adair, refused by Adair. The hammerlock, one of the simplest, and believe you me, one of the most punishing holds in all of wrestling. There's a back body drop now by Adair, who breaks out of that hammerlock. June Adair with a back body drop counters that hammerlock applied by O'Connor and breaks out. Now here comes O'Connor again. A reverse waistlock by O'Connor. And she dumps Adair down on her shoulders, comes up with a Boston Crab. But she can't hold it as Adair rolls over. And there's Adair kicking O'Connor into the ropes. O'Connor comes back, though, takes that front headlock again, corkscrews it now, and throws a hard left-hand punch into the midsection. O'Connor pulls Adair up by her hair once again, another headlock, corkscrewed. Another punch to the midsection, and Adair goes down hard. And Ray Garcia now is warning Adair as she is trying to grab O'Connor by her hair. Trying to separate the two girls now, and finally is successful in doing so. And there's Lynn O'Connor kicking June Adair and being warned against that abusive tactic by Ray Garcia. As these girls are getting just a little bit in with one another. And they came out of the break that time, and as you saw, it was O'Connor kicking Adair. And now it's Adair countering in a leg lock by Adair on the right leg of O'Connor. A leg lock and a headlock now. And there's O'Connor being shoved into the top turnbuckle now against the rope and onto the apron now. Ray Garcia steps between the girls and starts his count. O'Connor has 10 to get back in the ring from the apron. He comes in at the count of 2. A reverse body lock now, a rolling headlock by O'Connor. Another rolling waist lock now by Lynn O'Connor. And Adair looks groggy down there in the ring tonight. There's another one by O'Connor, and she's on the move this time. But here comes Adair now, and she has a full Nelson on O'Connor. And slams O'Connor down and takes a reverse body scissors. Well, we thought that June Adair was in trouble that time, but right now she has Lynn O'Connor in the pickle jug as she's come up with a reverse body scissors and rears back, throws all 127 pounds into that hold. Ray Garcia goes down for the count, asks O'Connor if she wants to submit. O'Connor says no. And meantime, desperately looks around, tries to find a way, and there's O'Connor taking and roughing the hair of Adair and being warned by Ray Garcia. Well, these girls are putting on quite a match for the crowd. It's still, though, O'Connor caught in a body scissors. Now it's a side body scissors by Adair. Tries to flail kick out. Ray Garcia goes down to see if he can see daylight between O'Connor's shoulders and the mat, but looks up immediately as O'Connor bridges up now and comes to the top. And she'll now try to jackknife the legs, I imagine, of Adair. Adair bridging, leaning back on her elbows as O'Connor now gets to her feet. And O'Connor now comes up with a double leg lock. And she's trying to tilt Adair down on her shoulders. If she can roll Adair over, she may be able to get a Boston Crab as submission. There's a monkey flip by June Adair. A beautiful monkey flip. Fine defensive wrestling by Adair, who counters with a monkey flip to break out of that double leg lock applied by O'Connor. There's a headlock corkscrewed by O'Connor. And O'Connor again throws that hard left-hand punch into Adair's midsection. That's perfectly legal, you know, as long as she uses the open palm of her hand. But the minute she starts using her fist, she'll be warned by Ray Garcia. Then O'Connor started wrestling while she was attending policewomen's school at Pasadena Junior College. She was studying jiu-jitsu at the policewomen's school, soon became an instructor, and 3 years ago turned to professional grappling. Adair's been wrestling professionally now for 2 years, so there's not much to choose or experience between these two girls. Very even match thus far between Lynn O'Connor and June Adair. There's a bear hug by O'Connor, who rears back, puts all her weight into that bear hug. Adair trying to counter now. She now has a wrist lock, an arm lock, but instead it's O'Connor grabbing the hair of Adair and smacking her into the turnbuckle. A hair lock now by Adair, or rather by O'Connor, and Ray Garcia warning O'Connor against use of the hair. Then O'Connor smacks June Adair, and there's O'Connor reaching out and slashing a right-hand punch to the face of Adair. And now it's Adair countering with a punch to the face of O'Connor. And here comes O'Connor now, corkscrewing a headlock, throwing a left-hand punch to the midsection. And now trying to pull Adair up by the hair and being warned once again by Ray Garcia, who has incessantly throughout this match been warning these girls against rough tactics. Now it's Adair coming in now. A flying hairlock by Adair with a takedown on June O'Connor. Adair gets her again, grabs her once more. Let's see if she can do it again. She does. Another flying hairlock by Adair. And O'Connor looks froggy down there now. Now it's a headlock and an armbar by Adair. June Adair having her innings right now, throwing a left-hand punch to the midsection of O'Connor. Now it's Lynn O'Connor coming up. And counted now by Adair, and the referee Ray Garcia steps in between these girls as they revert to type and start pulling hair. June Adair moves in now, takes a headlock and an armbar on the left arm of O'Connor. O'Connor complaining in there that her breathing is being impaired, saying that her windpipe is cut off. Ray Garcia looks in for some choking in there. Let's see if he sees it. Apparently he does not. It may have been just a ruse by O'Connor for Adair to break that hold. And there's a takedown by Adair now, and both girls here body locking each other and rolling toward the ropes. And as they reach the apron, Ray Garcia steps between them and orders a break. June Adair was taught wrestling by one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and one of the greatest fullbacks, if not the greatest professional fullback of all time in football, Bronco Nagurski. There's a bear hug now by O'Connor, and a top wrist lock taken by Adair. Now it's Adair reaching back in that top wrist lock. O'Connor trying to muscle out of it, but she can't do it as Adair has gotten behind her now. And there's O'Connor with a flying mare with a takedown. And O'Connor now working on a wrist lock on that left wrist of Adair. She's got Adair in trouble. Adair trying to flail kick out. She's corkscrewing that left wrist. O'Connor, you can see that she's in trouble down there, trying to bridge out of that. There's a body press now by Lynn O'Connor. This may be it. The count of one goes in, the count of two, the count of three. The bell sounds, and there is your match.